I'm going to be introducing the meeting tonight. Matt Kilareski has been bogged down with work and can't get free until 9 o'clock, so I'm just going to fill in for him here. In his opening remarks, the first thing we want to do is we have had now 6 new members since our last meeting, and I don't think any of them are truly currently local. We got Ernie Conover, Lauren Small, Eddie Pietkowski, Kathy Gower, Jeff Carroll, and John Wallach. And I think all but 1 or 2 of them have joined as a feed through from John Kelsey's Thursday coffee hours. So it's really pumping up our membership. We're up to 58 members now. And the only other thing in the opening remarks here is this Saturday at 11 o'clock, whoever wants to attend, we're going to be gathering at the new club location at 250 Commerce. Is that street or drive or what?
Drive.
Okay. In New Holland, just to take a look around, get familiar with it, and maybe start doing some planning on locating our stuff up there and how we'd arrange it. So that's 11 o'clock Saturday, and that's all I have for opening remarks. John, if you want to go ahead and do the treasurer's report.
Okay, let me spotlight myself for everybody here. Yeah. Treasurer's report is we have $44,238.52, and that counts the new membership we took in today from John Wallach, and $80 in petty cash. That's in the envelope with the checkbook. So you want me to go straight from that onward?
Yeah, you might as well go ahead. And
against that, I should say, against that, we have a $200 expenditure coming for our insurance for demonstrations through AAW. We should have paid that. We haven't paid it yet. I'm going to chase that down this week. And now we come to the business that I'm going to bore you with tonight. Let me just try and get this slideshow up. I'm going to have to share screen here, which means I'm going to remove the spotlight. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
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 LAW hybrid meetings looking towards summer 21.
Yes.
Yeah, we think that is what we're looking toward, and we're wanting to prep for that summer or early fall. We should be able to get together. We don't know what the rules are going to be for vaccinated and non-vaccinated and masks and whatnot, and we'll await state and CDC guidelines. But we do think it's time. The executive thinks it's time that we figure out what we're going to do next. Can you see the diagram?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is.
Excuse me, John, can you expand to full screen on that?
I wonder why I can't. Let me see what I'm
Okay.
doing wrong here.
Push the green up in the top left. There you
There you
go.
go.
There you go. Got it.
Okay, we have enough space at the Kaufman shop. It's a large L-shaped space on the second floor, on the mezzanine floor of their brand new building. It has big windows and it has good air HVAC. We haven't quite figured out where we'll locate in there, but probably at the apex of the L shape. It's a big enough shape so members can be in the room 6 feet apart. And we imagine members who are attending on Zoom on a big TV. We imagine a tech sitting over with a computer, switching between demo members in the room and remote members. And we would probably have at least 2 camcorders, one on the overhead boom for close-ups and overhead views, and the other on a tripod, so it could either look at the demonstrator, or look at the speaker, or look at the audience. So we think from our experience with Coffee Hour and with these meetings that we can set up this way where members can choose whether to attend in person or whether to attend remotely, and we can do demos. Next slide. We we learned after our last meeting, we were thinking we needed a laptop, a new one. A little more research and a good advice from our member Bob Mathers led us to Free Geek PA up in Ephrata, who sell used and reconditioned desktop computers, all Windows machines, which is what we will need. And there I could see several good examples of $500, 3 or 4 year old used computers that have the hardware that we need. That is an i7 processor, quite a bit of RAM, a good graphics card, HDMI port, and at least 3 USB, Ethernet. And the price, as I say, could be under $500. So we think we can make significant savings there. We are going to need a video display so that we can both see on the screen the action as well as other members who are attending remotely. This is an item the club needs anyway, and we in fact had agreed to buy a projector last year, which we didn't do because COVID hit. And this big video display is a better buy for us for the club. We had a big screen when we were at the college shop. And it's really the only way to do demos with a group the size of even who are on this screen tonight. You just can't crowd 20 guys or 20 people around a lathe where everyone can see. So the meeting room needs a big screen, whether we go full on video or not. By being connected to a computer, the screen can show the view from any of the cameras that we have in operation, as well as feeds from a Zoom member, as well as the Zoom crowd on the screen or the speaker or the demonstrator. Unlike the used computer, we think we're best off to buy this new. Mike Junkerth has been looking around and found some that in the 70, 75 inch range, in the 850, 900 range. And that's what we're recommending that we acquire for the club. We have one camcorder, which I'll show you in a minute. We're recommending a second camcorder, a Canon Vixia R800. I have a reconditioned one of this model. It's very good, very simple, very straightforward, pretty much bomb-proof. It has a built-in lens cover. It has a screen so you can see what it's doing. It does very well on a tripod. It can be on a tripod. It can show members in the room. It can show work on display. It can show the demonstrator. It will need a member operator. And this has been an ongoing issue in these conversations. We've found quite a few of us have experience down this track. I was worried last year that we would be in a jam here, but I don't think we are. Dave Shell is handling our recording editings now. Doug handles picture switching and a lot of the hosting. Mike Junkerth manages the website. Ron is working on a video. I hear from others who want to work on videos. I think we're fine. I think we'll have people who want to do it. And there's a current deal on Amazon for a new one of these camcorders with a tripod for $275. As for sound, this is a photograph of the Movo system I bought myself for Christmas last year. It's a USB, it's rather a lightning system that works with my phone because I've been making videos with my phone. This company offers the same system with a USB setup for plugging into your computer. And it offers 2 wireless microphones. And I'm imagining that the speaker or demonstrator has one, and the other one will need to make a talking stick, goes around the room for members in the room to speak into the recording and into the Zoom. This is $200 new. We're going to need with this at least 2 HDMI to USB video capture cards. I've got one that I paid $20 for and another that I paid $100 for, and I can't really tell the difference except the $100 one has another port. So I'm thinking somewhere in between there we'll find the right gizmos. We're going to need some cables. All these things are HDMI. And we're going to need some tables. We have 3 small tables. We're going to need a couple more. We would use tables. One table needs, our equipment needs to be on. Other tables are for show and tell and for member use during meetings. The club already owns a camera on the boom, which Doug built. It has with it a Canon Vixia HF10 camcorder, which is an older camcorder, but it still works pretty good. These are the plans that the AAW devised for use at symposiums. And when our club participated in building a set of these for the Mid-Atlantic Symposium, Doug built one for our club. So this is it, and we have it. It's on a wheeled tripod, and it's just absolutely perfect for overhead and close-up views. It's a big apparatus. It's very stable. The operator can drive it from the left-hand end where you see that handle, and the camera obeys. You can swivel it, you can tilt it, you can pan. It's a very, very nice setup. So far, yes.
Sorry, John. Mike, I think if I'm not mistaken, was actually running that boom at one of the Lancaster things. So if you want somebody who's actually had experience running the boom, we've actually got somebody in the club too. So Mike Junker does.
I also have run one, so I know that they're a club.
Oh,
and
okay.
Run them at AAW, different places too, and you know,
Okay.
I can do that too.
It's very, very cool. It really is. It's actually kind of fun to use it.
So member contributions so far. Ben Kaufman is going to lend us 20 folding chairs. The conference room that's on the same floor near the meeting space has 16 chairs that we can use. And by the way, the room has Ethernet, so it means we won't be dependent on Wi-Fi, which is Ethernet is absolutely the best way to get onto the internet when you want to have a Zoom meeting. Barry Price is going to donate his used Delta 14-inch bandsaw. Barry's also agreed to build a Lexan safety screen between the demonstrator and the people in the room. And Bob Bewer popped up today with a radial arm saw that he'll add to the cause. We already have a lathe. I don't know if we have a mini lathe as well, and we have a grinder. So we're on our way to having a good working setup for teaching, for demonstrating, and for making recordings.
John, I think we did, guys who were there with us over at the shop, I think there was a Jet Mini, a 1014.
I think so too. Yeah. But
Yes, sir. Yes, there is.
It was on that
Somewhere.
wooden box, the wooden stand. Very nice.
So I'm going to move that that the club approve spending up to $2,100 to equip ourselves for hybrid meetings that we could begin in the summer of 2021. And with that motion, I'm going to I add the thought that all purchases need to be approved by the 4-person executive committee plus Mike Junker, who's the best shopper we have. And with that, before we go to a vote, questions, comments, and discussion. I'm going to go back to gallery view so I can see everybody. I think I am. I got to see what I have to do. I have to stop the share. I got to find my mouse. Stop that. Stop share. Gallery view. Okay.
So John, from the point of view of contributions of our remote members, since they're not going to be, there are some people on the line that are definitely going to be remote accessing our meetings regardless. Can they also send videos or something like that? Will they be able to send videos for demonstrations if they want to, or somehow?
Yes,
Or,
they're going to be Zoom participants, so all they got to do is share screen. And then
Okay.
our operator chooses to make their share the spotlight for everyone so that it's on the big screen and it goes out on the Zoom feed. So in that situation, the members in the room would see the demonstration that was remote on the screen, and the members who are remote would see it on their screens.
okay, thank you.
John, this is Peter. I want to thank you and the technical committee for your leadership in this proposed acquisition. I really think that what you have achieved in the last year during this pandemic has really grown the club, as Barry mentioned, the increase in membership. And I think many of us thought a year ago maybe the club might not survive the pandemic, but quite the contrary. And I think what you're proposing here will take us further into the digital age and to further be leaders in the wood turning club environment. So I wholeheartedly endorse what you and the team have put together as a proposal, and irrespective of the outcome of the vote, I would just like to thank you, gentlemen, for putting this proposal together. Excellent work. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Dave Belial.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate our gratitude for this, and I already sent you my vote is yes, and I have a few things I sent to you. Membership of persons outside the reasonable distance to attend a face-to-face meeting has increased significantly. We owe the new members access to full membership participation. There will be local members that will not attend for a period of time that deserve access to the meetings. Many of these same people have shared demonstrations or made valuable contributions to discussion. Local members that are away on vacation or have moved or spent the winter in southern states would continue to have access to their meetings. And vitally important is the fact that we have experienced people with technical knowledge to implement the proposal correctly, in addition to the hard work John and Doug and their helpers have with the success of Coffee Hour. Thank you.
John, I'd like to add to that also that Mark, Jim, and I were together today producing a video, and we were commenting about how your leadership has kept the Quad State Modgers in the know too. We really appreciate you inviting us and allowing us to participate.
Well, thank you all for the kind remarks. It's really we've had tremendous participation from our membership, and that's been the key here.
Yeah, John, if it's appropriate, I'd like to second the motion that's on the floor.
Okay. More discussion? Questions, comments, argument?
Alan Miller here. Just a question. I was uncertain if I would be here this evening, so I already sent in a proxy vote. Don't want to be counted twice, but I'm all in favor.
We'll only count you. We are videoing this meeting, so we will have the recording. I'm videoing it. I'm pretty sure Dave Shell is as well. So we'll have the recording to know exactly who was here and who voted how, if that ever became an issue. But we have a quorum on screen. So
John, one more question. You mentioned in the proposal up to $2,100. Are you sure that's adequate, the 2,100 figure?
I think that we'll actually return some to the club on that. And if it isn't, we'll come back and we'll explain why. But
Okay.
I've sourced most of this stuff, and I think we can come in actually around 2,000, 2,050 maybe.
All right, I just didn't want to shortchange it. You needed to up it.
That
$100
does
or
not, it's half the treasury, and it does not include whatever materials we buy for when Barry builds the safety screen, but that might come later in the year anyhow.
Okay, thank you.
John, I think one of the unknowns also, based on the final decision on the TV, its safety would be best to have an articulated arm mounted on the wall and not have a portable push around screen, because that could be a very top heavy device if we created a kind of a stand with wheels for it. And depending on where we actually located it, it may be just a flat on screen without an articulation, but you're looking at most maybe another $100 for the arm. You really want to secure the heck out of that for obvious reasons, but
Mike, just a comment. You're probably right about what you're saying, but talking about heavy screens, I was down at Mid-Maryland years back, and they met in a lumber yard. And what they did to lift their screen, I think they had a 65-inch. They used a drywall lifter. They mounted it on there, and then they could raise it up and get it up so they could see it. And it had a bit of a portability to it. Given the space we have over there, we may not need the portability, but that's a thought that might work.
Ben, can you drive your forklift up the stairs for us, please? Do that for us.
I don't think
Good point, Mike.
I don't think we know the answer to that until we actually start to work with the space. I think Mike may be right. I think we can probably fit an articulated arm into the budget. If we bust the budget, we'll come back and explain exactly why.
Yeah.
So John, out of curiosity, what was the money being saved for by the club before we got this thing in the budget? Do you know, were we planning on getting a lathe or whatever? Because $4,000 for a club our size just sitting there is not doing something for the club. Is there something like getting another lathe in the future?
Well,
You know?
we kind of took a decision as an executive to minimize hiring in talent for demonstrations and rather to generate demos ourselves. So we were in the past using some of our dues money for that. We also before had the expense of rent on the meeting space. We don't have that. The Kaufman family is donating the space, which is absolutely a gift from heaven.
Yeah.
And we were looking toward perhaps buying a larger lathe, but we haven't. That hasn't come up as a topic of discussion. But that would have been the next thing that came up. We were going to need a big TV. We were going to need another lathe, a bigger lathe, probably.
And historically, we were also looking at, as you guys will remember from our days at Stevens, setting up road trips and
Yeah.
having the funds pay for the approximate $800 to whatever
Okay.
for box lunches and so on.
And a bus.
I don't want to understate, though, the value of Mr. Conover coming to our shop and showing me not to be afraid of the skew. So everything I turn tends to look like his books and stuff, but that's fine because he made me less afraid of the skew.
So you're saying that his books make you slightly askew, is what you're saying?
His books make me slightly askew.
Started out slightly askew.
Okay.
They say not to drink and turn like you don't drink and shoot guns. Well,
Any more comments or questions here, or should we go to?
I
Point
think
of order,
this
John.
really helps the SKU number for the book too. But I might just add, as a demonstrator that used to go all over the country, but before the pandemic, there was a fair number of people in the AAW who were demonstrating electronically via Zoom now, but they used other platforms in those days. But you actually might be able to save money on remote demonstrations because you can have a guy in Hawaii give you a demonstration. He never leaves his shop. He's got everything he needs there. You don't have to put him up. There's no transportation. You can actually give him a bigger honorarium than he would have enjoyed if he'd done all the former.
good point, Ernie.
Yeah, point of order, John.
One thing, they do make ceiling mounts for television sets.
Yep.
It consists of a bracket that's attached to the ceiling, a pole that hangs down, and it has an attachment which will attach to the back of any TV set.
This is a high ceiling. We don't even know how high right now, but that's a good point. We'll look at that too.
Yeah, John, point of order. Those of us who weren't sure we were going to attend the meeting and send in proxies, do you want us to vote or you
Yeah.
want us to?
We want you to vote. We will not
vote?
count your vote twice. We have a quorum on screen.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Karen Drennan.
Hi.
I'm a new member and I mailed a check in on March 15th, but it hasn't cleared yet.
That's
So I
my-
don't know if I'm official.
You are official. The check is on my desk. I'm the one who's, I'm the treasurer. I'm the delinquent here. I'll do it this week.
Better you than me. Thank you very much.
Hey, Karen, since you're not on video, if you would you, is there anyone else not on video that you won't see a raised hand? No, just Karen.
Yeah, can you turn your video on, Karen? Would you mind?
Yeah.
Or just tell us what your vote is if you'd rather not.
Okay, I guess, Barry, you want to call the question?
John, I have a question or comment before you go.
Yes, Ron.
There was talk about buying a lathe and so on. I think it's true. We have a mini lathe there that's electronic variable speed. And we also have that jet mechanical drive variable speed. Thinking about buying another lathe is probably down the road some.
Yeah.
If we're going to do any in-person demos, first of all, it's questionable when we're going to get started on doing that. But when we do, we just limit ourselves to those two machines until we get into seeing that as a limitation and then start talking about maybe we need another lathe. I think that's down the road a while.
I agree.
Yep. I agree.
This is this year's big expenditure. We won't be coming back in the fall to do it again. Barry?
Are we going to do the vote by capture or by the yes, no feature?
I don't know if everybody knows
hands.
what a yes, no is. Do you want to try a show of hands first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the question is, should the club, or does the club approve the expenditure of up to $2,100 to fund the necessary equipment to be able to begin hybrid meetings this summer?
All in favor?
I see a unanimous vote on my screen.
I think so too.
You got it.
Okay, anyone opposed?
Not if it's unanimous.
I couldn't see it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. We will,
Thanks, John, for all the work and
get right on with this.
putting it together.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your efforts.
Yeah, thanks, John. Awesome.
Thank you all very much. Now back to Doug and Barry.
Okay, and John, thank you again for putting the whole thing together and not just presenting it today, but all the legwork and mind work on putting this together. Really appreciate it. And the club is grateful for it.
Thank you.
So